Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is August 17th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery as of yesterday. Had a couple thunderstorms there across the Sierra Nevada, across portions of Nevada and Northeast California. If I scroll in through the day, you can kind of see the thunderstorm right here across Northeast California. And again, that thunderstorm activity across the California-Nevada border went on towards sunset. And then when the sun set, we didn't have much in the way of lightning strikes last night. And as we go back towards this morning, you can see as the sun rises across the area, you can see the Southern California marine there is already starting to burn off for some areas. You probably see that lightning flash right there, just a false return. Getting some clear skies across the central coast, and some drizzle's been falling across some of the Bay Area as well. And we've got some of these clouds up and down the coastline here, kind of socked in there once you go north of the Bay Area. So what's going on this week is we're going to ramp up the temperatures. We're also going to have some monsoon moisture making its way back in towards Nevada and California. We're going to go over all those details here as we go through the video this morning. Last 24 hours, you can see the lightning strikes that we did have, not too much, less than what we had yesterday, especially across portions of Arizona, but you can see it right there concentrated across the California and Nevada border. So this is let's back up to day one here, and you can see the categorical outlook. Northeast California is included with that. There's a slight chance for some thunderstorm activity here across the Sierra Nevada. Day two, lesser chances across the area, but that's going to be changing again as we go through the later portion of this week and on in through this upcoming weekend. Isolated dry has moved out of the area. Elevated fire conditions do continue across some portions of Nevada and towards portions of Utah. Now, thunderstorm probabilities today, like I mentioned, you can see kind of showing that for some of the Sierra Nevada, maybe Hayfork, Redding, low chances, Bernie 15%, and it looks like that date is off. That's probably 5 a.m. Sunday, August 17th here, but of course it's only 9 a.m. as I'm doing this briefing. Now, this is the National Weather Service San Francisco. Nice graphics here. You can see cooler troughing nearby, but this is where we are headed as the ridge develops, pumps some monsoon moisture back up into the area and warms things up. So good graphics here. If you want to pause it and look towards where you might be across the Bay Area, you can kind of see these temperatures ramping up a bit. And you can see San Francisco, the airport there, you're only getting back up into the mid 70s because you're pretty close to the coastal areas there, of course. But look at Santa Rosa getting back up to the mid 90s, Cloverdale, Concord as well. Now, extended heat and fire weather. Los Angeles National Weather Service is showing again some locations. See Long Beach warming back up into the lower 90s. There's Palmdale. Look at 107 by Friday. Look at Woodland Hills, 108, 108 on Thursday and Friday. Ventura warming up towards 80 degrees. Of course, the coastal regions don't warm up nearly as much. But yeah, we're going to get pretty warm here. And again, monsoon moisture trying to make its way into the area. Now, quickly, I'll look at the fire smoke here being produced. And you can see the Gifford fire not even producing much smoke. So definitely nice to see that. You know how bad it can be at this time of year. So definitely we'll take that. Nice to see. So anyway, looking at 500 millibars. This is the troughing here. You can saw that in the National Weather Service San Francisco's graphic. And if I put that into motion, the troughing hangs out for a little bit here, but you can see the ridging starting to creep in there from the east. And look at that ridge get established across the Four Corners region, across Arizona. And the wind flow around this is clockwise. So this starts to pump that monsoon moisture back up in towards the state of California and Nevada. And it also warms us up. And you can kind of see that continue as we go on in through this week and towards this upcoming weekend. Look at that ridge just, kind of really centered right across the Four Corners there. And so we go on in through the week and kind of see that ridge hanging out there. By the time the model run ends there, the last night's European, you can clearly see the ridge is still in place. Now, same thing here, 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet. We're going to look at wind speeds, and you'll notice that ridge start to build here. There it goes, that clockwise rotation, this anticyclone, the ridge. But what it does is it starts to allow for that monsoon moisture. Again, sound like a broken record, but there it goes. Start introducing that back into the region. Are we going to be unstable enough to bring some showers and some precipitation? That's kind of still yet to be determined, but you can clearly see the ridge in charge there as we go through next weekend. Now, precipitable water. So you can kind of see how we are, we're not dealing with a lot of moisture there across some of the desert areas in California, Nevada right now, but watch as we scroll through this upcoming week. You'll see some of those, the blues and the greens and the yellows start to creep back in towards the state of California. There we go. As we go through Thursday, you can really see it creeping up, even making its way out into some of the San Joaquin Valley there, maybe up towards the Bay Area area and it starts to push across the deserts, California, Southern California, you're definitely going to feel an increase in that humidity out there, and it's going to start to get muggy as we go through this upcoming week. Now, total precipitation in inches on the artificial intelligence model. So those are the thunderstorms. If I back that up, that's the thunderstorm activity for today up here across Northern California. We scroll on into the next few days. We get a little bit of a break, but then by the time we go towards Thursday, see some of this shower activity popping off across the peninsula and the transverse range there. That would be that monsoon moisture trying to come in. We go through Friday yet again, maybe creeping up towards the Sierra Nevada, portions of Nevada, some of the desert areas start to get into that precipitation chances there as well. We go through Saturday again, you see the bump in that precipitation total here. So that could bring some exciting weather here across some of Southern and Central California. We scroll on in through Monday. Again, another bump there. Look at Tuesday, and we go through Wednesday. Check it out. Monsoon moisture on tap as we go on and through the extended forecast. So we'll be breaking that down over the next few days, but definitely like to see that signal. A little bit more exciting weather across some portions of California at least. Now, if we take a look at this is more of an extended outlook here. And again, we're looking at the Hawaiian Islands bottom left. There's the state of California, the trough that's hanging out here, keeping temperatures oppressed a little bit until this ridge just becomes completely in charge of the weather here across the southwest USA. As we scroll on into the extended forecast, the ridge hangs out for a while. And then something interesting as we start to get towards the 10-day forecast, it actually allows for some deeper tropical moisture to come up across some of Mexico, Baja, the Gulf of California. Where would that go? Who knows? Purely a fantasy forecast at this time frame, but yeah, something interesting there in our extended forecast. And taking a look at that, as I go through the later portion of this week, you can see this is Friday afternoon. You see that precipitation up across California and Nevada. That's that monsoon moisture. There's Saturday, there's Sunday right there. There's Monday. Just kind of rinse and repeat here as we go through the weekend and on in through at least the mid portion of next week. Then you can kind of see this tropical moisture trying to move up across Baja there. Where will that go? Is that going to actually come to fruition? Who knows? But again, kind of an interesting look at things there through the extended. Now, daily 2-meter max temperatures. You can see things suppressed a little bit across the area. Of course, warmer across the deserts, cooler across the coastal areas. You'll warm up across the valley areas, relatively speaking, as well. Then we go through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. See that gradual warm up here as we go through Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, again, another very warm day. Bakersfield 105. You're looking at, northern Sacramento Valley getting up over 100 degrees as well. Sacramento around 100 degrees. Of course, you want to beat the heat, get out towards the coastal areas. Then we go through Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And again, the fly in the ointment is going to be how much of that cloud cover from the monsoon moisture is going to mess with these temperatures here. So that'll be a tricky forecast as we go forward here on and through, the later portion of August. Now, this is Ontario. You see the gradual warming trend there. Yep, there it goes. That's last night's European model run. But you can see some 105 temperatures, almost ranging 20 degrees from what you're getting here today. John Wayne, Orange County, something similar here, 13 degrees warmer by the time you get towards Friday. Palm Springs warming up a bit here as well, getting back up over 100 towards 110 degrees towards the end of the week. And again, some muggy conditions. Blythe, also the gradual warm up. Now you can kind of see that Blythe. You can see where we are now, and then look at this precipitable water. That is that monsoon moisture trying to move in here as we go through the midweek period and extending through the weekend. Same thing for Palm Springs. You can see us gradually moistening up the atmosphere as that monsoon signal comes across the region. Now, this is Las Vegas. This is the ensemble members, and you can see kind of that hit and miss nature of some of this precipitation coming as we go on into next Monday and Tuesday, looking at that time frame there. But you can see there's a lot of ensemble members with no precipitation, but there are some with some pretty heavy amounts, relatively speaking, for the Las Vegas area. Now, this goes for some of the desert areas as well. Look at this Palm Springs, a little bit even of a better signal there, a couple tenths of an inch. But of course, if you're underneath one of those showers, you can end up with an inch plus. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, those are some pretty hefty amounts there during the summertime. Again, that's for some isolated areas, you could be looking at some heavier amounts, definitely. So again, Palm Springs there. But if you look at downtown Los Angeles, it does show a little bit here in a couple of the ensembles, but not much. So we're not going to worry about that too much just yet. We'll see how this signal looks as we go through the next couple of days. There's Riverside Municipal Airport, and again, very hit and miss there with that precipitation. If you look at Phoenix, though, you can really see that monsoon moisture streaming in here, and we start to get some more active weather back across Arizona. 6 to 10 day above normal. This goes through August 26th. This was issued yesterday. We go to the 6 to 10 day, and you can clearly see that monsoon signal showing up on the Climate Prediction Center's prediction. And then we go to 8 to 14 day, and again, that above normal signal continues to exist. Also, the experimental product does continue to show the slight risk of some hazardous temperatures. Should be no surprise with what we just looked at. But yeah, anyway, check back tomorrow. Still got a couple days before this monsoon moisture starts to move back up into the region here. We'll take a look at what all the models have to say. We'll check out high resolution forecast once we get a bit closer to it. But otherwise, hope you guys are having a good day. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.